I'm Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And we are here tonight with a special Rise and Crime After Dark for the mysterious death of Mica Miller. So as you're all coming in, please like, share, subscribe, all the things. We definitely want to make sure that we are getting this message out into the algorithm that we are covering. Hey, baby. Nanny's live.
Not going in monster truck.
You want your monster trucks?
Yeah.
We'll go with mommy. She'll find it for you. Sorry. You know how it is late at this time of night around here, but I don't want to go late tonight, so we decided, 8 to 10 is our time to talk. So anyway, how is everybody tonight? I'm just waiting for Sarah to pop in here. He's here. He's doing good, as you can hear. Oh, it's been a really good day today, Outlandish History. So I hope you've had a good day. Oh my goodness, he's having a meltdown. He can't find his one car. Yeah, his one car. It's okay, babes.
It's right here, honey. You want the crushable
You've missed me. Yeah, I miss you guys too. I miss coming on all the time, you guys. But holy cannoli, it's really loud. It's we go live a lot. It's hard for us to get our other work done, so it's kind of this balance we're trying to find right now, while we're building the network, the actual TV station. So, we're trying to do this balance between produced content and live content, and I'm just having a hard time balancing all of it, guys, trying to cover all these cases. I had no clue that when we started on this Mica Miller case that it was going to take so much of our time and be so interesting. My husband is actually who brought it to me, like out of nowhere, and he just sent it to me. He's like, "This is going to be your next big case. You need to look at this. It's going to blow up." And then not even like half an hour later was when Sarah started messaging me about it, and I saw Conspiracy covering it, and then I hopped into a Natasha live and she was covering it, and so I was like, oh, okay, well, I definitely need to take notice of this, and as soon as you do with these types of cases, they get their hooks right into you, and I'm telling you, this one has gotten me to my full core. I am just in utter, I don't know. It's really shook me. And I don't get shook by cases. I really don't. I don't get shook by them very often. I don't, I don't let them get to me like that. Now, the Gypsy case, of course, it's gotten to me in a personal way. That was a little different. But I learned a lot from working on that case. I learned how to not get close to the victims as close as I was, and not get so close to the family and not believe everything that they say, because they've got their own agendas, So, and looking in this case, oh, fantastic. She found the memorial. Sarah was looking for the memorial for me, because we have a couple different things that we're trying to make sure we cover tonight. We're going to try and make this as comprehensive as we can of what we know, in this 2-hour period. Like I said, we have been updating on this case all week long. It's just been a shocker every which way, it's just been an interesting week of things. Okay, so that's where it should go right there. Okay. So have you guys been following along with this case? Hey, Mama's the boss. I don't know if you guys have been following along with this case. How much information have you guys been kind of perusing? Are you following the bigger channels that are covering this, like Kyler Marlowe has been following this and covering it. She's done an amazing job. My husband also turned me on to the Robbie Harvey, who has been doing a lot. We've got a lot of his clips up here tonight, along with Marlowe's work. We're obviously going to put in our own FOIA requests and things, and I have a couple of people in our network that I'm going to start having look at this case. But we're a little bit behind on catching up with it. Like I said, I had no clue. We were covering Daybell, the trial, every night, and trying to work on that because that's been a case that we've been covering for years now. We were on scene with that in the very beginning. We even did a 24-hour live here on YouTube on the anniversary of when they had said that they were going to ascend. So we were covering Daybell, and we didn't even realize that this was going to be such a big thing. I just thought I was going to throw it in for a minute and it would be done. And it has so not been that. Hey, you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Hey everyone, how's everybody doing this evening? Week's almost over. It's been pretty crazy.
MTB, I actually have not seen the court feed from the Daybell trial today yet at all. Apparently, I just saw a story come across my news feed that there is some sort of issue that the judge found with his indictment today. I don't know how that would happen, 4 weeks into a trial that's been on the books since 2018, 2017. So I can't remember when it happened. I don't remember.
It could be something evidentiary, but we need to probably recap what happened with Daybell maybe tomorrow.
Well, yeah, we're working on those we will be putting out, the court updates. We're going to try and get them done as quickly as possible, but it's kind of taken a back seat to what we're doing here with this Mica Miller story. Like I said, I was telling everybody, I had heard about it from my husband, then I started hearing about it from a couple of you guys, and then it just like blew up. It exploded everywhere.
Yeah, it's really bothered me. And I just want to say something to our viewers that they may not be aware of, but May, this month right now that we're in, is National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month.
Right.
So that is a very trigger warning. There's going to be a lot of trigger warnings in this.
Well, I want to put it up front. It is a trigger warning episode. It is all for entertainment and educational purposes, in our opinions, and allegedly, and the opinions of the host do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our company.
Me personally, I just lost my godson to suicide a few months back. And so his mother just went through her first Mother's Day without him, which was extremely difficult last weekend. And then, as you know, we had a suicide hoax pulled on us. Right. So the timing of all this has been very emotionally upsetting.
I'm telling you, God is leading us down a path, Sarah, that I'm not quite sure where we're headed for, but I really do feel like God is just really leading us right now. All the things with the gypsy stuff coming around to where we are now, and my journey with the company, with my friends, with everything. And I don't think that it's not lost on me that this came up exactly at this moment in time and that it played out the way it has.
So this is why the suicide hoax has been so triggering for me.
My husband's making BLTs. He's showing you guys.
Oh, I was gonna say, does that? It's blurry. It's blurry, but it looked like bacon strips. But yeah, this is why this hoax with the Sarah Jane suicide hoax has been so upsetting for me personally. And also, we're going to show a video here in a little bit of Mica that I want to talk about and address that has affected me deeply.
Well, that's what I wanted to put up first. So let me put it up.
Okay, you want me to talk about it first?
Do you want to talk about it first, or do you just want to play it first?
Yeah, so I want to talk about it for a minute. So, guys, stop what you're doing, please. Watch this clip. This was the first clip that I ever actually saw of Mica speaking and singing. And I don't know if any of you guys are religious or not, but I'm just going to put this out there that this clip touched my heart, and I've read lots of comments on it, and other people said that they could feel like God's spirit actually coming through the phone to their hearts, and it, they felt her love and her presence and her compassion and her sweet tenderness. And so when you watch this video, I want you guys to keep in mind, listen to what she's saying, also listen to how she speaks. And she had the most beautiful voice. I've heard her sing so many different songs, and she was incredible. She did writing, she would really cool about, she would take these popular songs, these secular songs, and she would change the lyrics and make them Christian songs. And that takes a lot of talent. But she's going to sing a little clip here of a Christian song that is a praise and worship song that is very popular.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and play it.
It's not a margarita.
It's not a margarita? Okay. My husband just wants to make sure everybody knows that this is not a margarita. All right, here we go. So sorry. I know it's a somber moment, but he's always got to add something. All righty, here we go.
Just kind of like human thoughts, things that you want to do. And it's just a fleeting thought, and then this song came to my mind because it says, bless those who curse you, pray for your enemies, things like that. And so I just wanted to sing this really quick and see if it encourages you. I hope it does. But it says, I pray for your healing. The circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name. I pray that a breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. So
Sure.
Pray for those who curse you. Bless those who curse you. Speak well
Yes.
of those who are not speaking well over you, because God sees all, God hears all, He knows all. And if you keep your heart right and His will be done, not yours, it's all going to work out. So I hope it encourages you today.
See, I just I'm sorry, I just can't even take that. Looking at her eyes and seeing that sparkle in her eyes and listening to her sing that beautiful praise and worship song, and then at the end saying everything's going to work out, and it didn't, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah. It does. And she had such a love for life from everything that I've seen.
Yeah.
I've heard this very heartbreaking phone call that she made to her husband, telling him that she should have never left him. She feels bad because she left him in a time of need, and he was trying to be a better father, better human, better whatever the hell she said. But it was just she was, and she'd been gone from him for a while at this point. This was a call back in January or March, I think. January, March, I can't remember. But it was a call from a couple months back, and I've heard it. And it doesn't seem like this woman was preparing for death. It just doesn't seem that way. I'm sorry. I don't buy this one.
No.
I don't buy the story. I don't. There's something so suspicious about it. I mean, I can sit here and I can think of how emotionally and mentally tortured she must have been. There's obvious problems between her and her husband. He's extremely aggressive. He groomed her. I mean, it's just a tragic story all the way the fuck around with him. But I don't feel like she was making moves to take her life, and I don't think her family does either.
I mean, she had made plans. I mean, with friends and family, she had scheduled a hair appointment in a few days. She had paid the insurance on her vehicle, made her car payment. She was holding a steady job. something I found very interesting about an hour ago, and you may get into this, but I guess she had left him last year and filed for divorce,
Yep.
and then in February, and then in 2023, and then in no, I take that back, and it was in October. It was in October of 2023, and then they decided to reconcile. So she dropped the divorce proceedings, and
Right.
then he immediately made her sign a prenup, which is very odd after they'd been married for a while, that he just made her sign this prenup. And it was basically saying that she was not going to talk bad about the church, and that she could not do anything with their marital property, and she could not get alimony, and she could not seek anything for the house because that's owned by the church, which the church is actually owned by him. And she signed all that, and then 10 days later, then he went and filed for divorce, and then his proceedings got just dismissed. And then she turned around after being stalked and harassed and basically tortured. Then she goes ahead and files for divorce again, and then 48 hours later she's dead.
Right. And see, these are telltale signs of intimate partner violence. I have done a lot of work on intimate partner violence since going back to school. I've started my own nonprofit with this. We're trying to raise funds for that and make awareness. One of the biggest things that we wanted to make sure, yes, you can help the women and the children get out, but the most important thing is to educate the first responders, medical staff, CPS workers, what these situations really look like, because they're not your average domestic violence. It's not just the average guy who gets drunk and beats his wife. Intimate partner violence, the way that she has been subjected to, and other women have been, it's very intense, and it does happen like that. They will escape, and then the man, the husband will convince them that he's changed. He's had a new, he's turned over a leaf. He's sought counseling through the church, and he's going to be a better man. And they convince you to come back, and things are great for a little while. The love bombing begins again, where they're just so in love with you. And
You go through the honeymoon phase again.
The love bombing and the honeymoon stage happens, and then within 2 to 3 months you're back to exactly where you were before, if not in a worse situation. And I feel like that's what she was going through. I think, to my understanding, she's left several times. She's tried to do this several times, and it's always been that he somehow gets her back, and that's, like I said, very classic in intimate partner violence. Women will go back over and over again because they truly do believe that their man can change, that the abuser will stop. They change them. And that's the hard part about it, is you cannot change an abusive person like that. They just
right. I mean,
that's who they are.
The fact that he had her involuntarily institutionalized against her will, and while she was in there being evaluated, he stole her purse, her car keys, and all her personal property, and her car. And then when she filed a police report on the car being stolen, they said, well, there's really nothing we can do. You guys are married to each other. I mean, your names are both on the vehicle, but it's considered marital property, so you'll just have to take it up in court. So she went out and had to buy another vehicle. And, then he proceeded to flatten her tires twice and put tracking devices on her car. I mean, she's just been through hell.
Yeah, and she was reporting all of this all along. I just don't see her deciding at the last minute, I bought a sandwich, I paid my insurance bill today that was behind. Unless, you could make a case for she's cleaning up like all the things that her family would have to deal with if she's not going to be there anymore. But it just, all of it together, along with the suspicious of it, I just don't think that we're looking at
And also, you know, when JP had her involuntarily committed, he also went and got power of attorney over her.
Mm-hmm. Do you know that that the mental health documents though were never filed, that they were not correct? I have an article about that here coming up. So there's just a lot of suspicion surrounding this case. One of the first things that I wanted to look at, this was,
and I can tell you, have you taken a very good look at the terrain at the river and the bank and forest area around it?
I have the drone footage. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not talking about drone footage. I'm talking about like photographs that were taken.
That's what it shows. That's what I'm saying. I have the footage and there's a map that I have as well from Coyote. Yeah, I've seen it all.
Okay. Well, yeah, this was taken on foot by someone on foot that took pictures with their camera instead of above. They were actually showing just how thick the bush areas and the trees were around that area where she was found.
Right. All right. Well, I want to show this first. This is giving an interesting look at the pastor. I don't even know what's happening in this video. It is beyond strange. He is laying on the ground, and it appears that he is inebriated or on something. I don't know. But it's a very interesting little video here, and it's from the Robbie Harvey station. And I've seen this on other stations, but this is the one I found tonight to play. But here we go. This is kind of
He was
crazy.
caught having an affair on his first wife. According to the man, this was taken in her front yard. Remember, that affair happened with Mica Miller.
JP. You all right, man? You okay? Huh? You okay? What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter? Is somebody helping you? Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm wondering if it's an attempt from him, because they said that he did a suicide attempt himself. Or that he confessed that he was having suicide to his congregation.
Is your medication something they gave you? You want me to make sure Mark's coming? But somebody's called him, right? Okay. All right. Hey, JP. I think Mark is coming. Mm-hmm. I had him try to get in touch with him again to make sure. Is that okay? Huh? He was like, there's ants on you? There's no ants on you, though. It's just, maybe that's how you feel, but there's none on you. There's none on the grass. What kind of medicine do they have you on? All right, well, somebody's going to come, okay?
He's saying, I wish we had closed captioning on this, but all I can really make out is I need Jesus. I want to see Jesus.
Do I need to call 911? Do I need to call the medics?
He just needs to get to Jesus.
Yeah, we got somebody coming. You want some water or anything? You want some water? Yeah, he said okay if you got a little bottle of water.
It looks like he just like opened the door of the passenger side or the driver's side, whichever side is there, and fell out onto the ground.
Yeah.
I think he's on something because he's talking about the ants biting him. That would be indicative of like but okay, it doesn't make you act like that. No, you're right, it's funny, it doesn't. But I mean that.
Well, let me tell you something. Supposedly he was on lithium as well, and that stuff will eat your. It actually does eat your brain up.
Back over here. Okay, so. Well, let me know if I can do anything. Okay, I think he's.
Now this is an
Here's some water.
episode, guys, that he's having with his first wife.
Yes, this is the first wife he's already been he's been caught cheating on his wife. She has,
You want to try to sit up?
This is the
You want to try to sit up, or you want me to put it to your mouth, or what?
I'll be out in a few minutes if you need it.
Okay. Is that enough? You want more? I can't stop making noises in the morning when I wake up.
I just can't watch any more of that.
It's
that was painful to watch. That was painful to watch. Okay, so
and guys, remember at this time he's still the owner and the full-time pastor at this church.
Was he at the time he was with his first wife?
Yes, he was. And Mica, what the hell was he doing in a wheelchair by a swimming pool? Because he's paralyzed.
Yeah, this guy has definitely got some sort of psychosis. I don't know exactly what it is. You know, I can't diagnose that without sitting down and interviewing him. But he's got something going on. It's either substance abuse or mental health issues. He's either off his medicine. I mean, if he's off lithium, if he stopped taking his lithium, that could be an extreme withdrawal. But I mean, I don't understand. I feel like this is just a ploy. I feel like this is just, he got drunk and decided to go over to his wife's house, and he tried to open the door and fell out on the freaking lawn, and then just basically played baby, you know, like, oh, my life is just horrible, and well, you're the one who did it, mofo. You're the one who screwed up the life. You're the one that's grooming chicks at 14 years old. You're the one cheating on your wife. You're a pastor. You are supposed to hold yourself to a higher standard, much less the congregation holding you to a higher standard. You're the guider of the sheep. You are the shepherd. You are the tender of the flock. Like, this is outrageous. Like you said, Atlantis, if I had heard him talking about his wife during a sermon, the way that he talked about his wife during a sermon, yeah, I would have absolutely gotten up and left. And in fact, parishioners did. And I have reached out to two of them today that made statements. Yeah, it's a husband and wife. They have been with the church for about 6 months prior to Micah's passing. And they said from day one, they just really felt off about him. They did know that he was, a recovering addict of some sort. I believe it's alcohol abuse, but I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up again. And so they were also recovering addicts. And so they felt like maybe that he was just going through something, and they got a kinship with him over that, but they said it became increasingly more and more apparent that something was not right and that he was not leading his flock properly. They were
I've seen their report, the post they made. They list like red flag 1, red flag 2, red flag 3, red flag 4.
Like, we're out. He took his wife and he was like, we're out of here. This is not the man to lead us spiritually. If you believe in the Lord, your spiritual guider is everything. The person who is guiding you spiritually plays almost a bigger role in your life than anyone else. And if that person is tainted, then it taints the flock. And you have a breeding ground for elders to be inappropriate, because the shit rolls downhill. And if you've got a shit person at top who is doing all of these types of unethical things, then that's going to beget your elders and your youth pastors and your ministry, your music ministry. It's going to trickle down all through your church.
Listen,
And
the elders and the leaders of this church, even JP's father, have been under investigation for
JP's father is sus as fuck.
Of criminal activities. And so I think this is just going to be the tip of the iceberg.
I think I just stumbled across something about JP's father, and I didn't put it on the list of do because we've already got so many things we wanted to cover. But apparently, wherever he was having a mission, I swear they said Pakistan, but I don't know. Wherever it was, that his mission, the father's mission, and he was providing for these families and doing these things, they literally told him that he was a criminal, that he was falsely imprisoning people, and that they did not want him coming back.
He had been accused of abusing the children there.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, let's see. The next thing I have, so the way I wanted to kind of look at this, I wanted to discuss the 911 call. Because we've already put it up, and I've already told you guys I thought it was suspicious as fuck. It just doesn't seem like a regular 911 call, and the operator doesn't seem like she is responding in the appropriate way. Now,
no, she lets her get off the phone. She's like, okay, we're sending somebody there. I mean, are you kidding me? It's like, we're sending someone there to find your body. No, you stay on the phone with them and you talk them out of it
until the officers arrive, or you put them through to the suicide hotline. She had no reaction, not even a pause. The woman, I'm sorry, I know that they get these types of calls. There is a specific protocol of things you're supposed to do. In the beginning, I got it. She didn't understand what she was calling for. Can you track my phone? Yes, ma'am, I can. Let me see where it is. Are you being pinged here? I can ping you to this place. Is that where you are? Yes, because she's making the phone call supposedly from in the actual parking lot of the state park. So that was weird to me too. She's got a sandwich sitting next to her. She's got a full tank of gas. She just paid her insurance, and here she is, stay in a state park that she has never been to. It's not a place that they had gone to on regular times or anything like that.
It held no special reason, no special feelings, or there was nothing special to her or JP about that park.
Right, and so and then of course it's a remote location. And it's crossing state lines for no reason. Like, if she wanted her family to be able to easily find her, this is not the way to do that. This is not. And then I don't know if you guys know it or not, but from the spot where her car is to where she was actually found, that is a 20-minute walk.
Not only is it a 20-minute walk, but it's also chained off to the public. You can't
Right.
drive down there.
So here's this dispatcher. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, I get it. She's just trying to figure out what the woman wants. She doesn't understand. She's following along. Yes, ma'am, I can do this. Yeah, I've got you here. And then she drops the bomb of, I'm going to kill myself. And I just wanted to make sure my family would know where to find me. And all the dispatcher says is, hey, ma'am, no. It's
Right.
like
She's
was
just like,
eating
okay,
toast.
we're sending somebody out. No, you don't get off the phone.
You offer services. You ask them what's going on. Ma'am, we don't want you to do that. We need to keep you on the line. You don't hang up the phone. And then for however long, it was like absorbent amount of minutes, 13 minutes or something. She's like, I can't get this woman back on the line. Well, yeah. Why did you let her off the line?
It almost, makes me feel like I don't even believe that the dispatcher's call response was real. I mean, it makes me think that we've got AI on Mica's end and AI on the 911 end.
It would make sense if it was an AI generated call that they are using. Then it would make sense that the dispatcher and Mica would both be AI generated. But that's such an odd thing to have happen. That's doing a lot. But I mean,
But we've got
a corrupt system. You've got a corrupt system, right?
They already know that how bad Robeson County is in North Carolina. I mean, they had Operation Tarnish Badge a few years back, and the things they uncovered there were terrible. But they actually have in that department, their task force, they have an AI guy. And on top of that, JP's family personal friend and a member of his church and his attorney is an AI expert and owns an AI company.
Right. It's a serious part of his actual business. And look, Shahid, I'm not saying that's true. I'm simply telling you this is what people are putting out there, and it is not beyond the realm of possibility. It's just not with the way things are these days. There is there is too much stuff. His lawyer is in with the good old boys. This is still another good old boys network, and he's a pastor in this area. He's well known. His father's well known. The lawyer owns the property that backs up right against where Mica was freaking found dead.
And I'm going to tell you guys something. 20 years ago, I made a anonymous 911 call on a payphone regarding my abusive ex, and they weren't sure who made the call. So they actually went to his house. He was drunk. They picked him up and they drove him back to the sheriff's office. Like I said, he has a lot of pull, power, and influence in our area and a lot of money. They actually let him listen to the 911 call, which is 100% illegal, and everyone involved would have lost their jobs. And they let him listen to it to see if he could identify the voice. And he said, yeah, that's her. And my attorney didn't believe me.
Wow. Like you said, Outlandish, when you have power and privilege, anything is possible. So here we've got the 911 call queued up here. And this is actually an enhanced call. A former CIA analyst did this and had this played, and it's 1 minute and 59 seconds. So let me go ahead and play it up here for you. And he explains why he does believe that this could be an AI situation and exactly how that can be done. So let's play that. That's the next thing I wanted to share with you guys tonight. So here we go.
Your emergency.
Now hold on.
No, this is the video about the noise heard in the background, the male voice. This is not the AI video.
Oh, well, crap. I thought this was. Okay,
no.
Well, hold on. Where's the AI one then?
It's another gentleman. He's got sunglasses on and a hat. He's thinner face.
I'm trying to find where to put it.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
I'm aware, honey. I just don't know in what order I put it in. But that one, you can hear that Mica Miller. Now, I don't know. You know, that's
I think it sounds like, listen, I think it sounds like Mica Miller. Everybody, there's a lot of people that agree, and there's a lot of people that think it says eyes forward. But I don't believe that it was some background noise from the 911 dispatcher.
Okay, hang on. I'm working for the Fisherman. The Fisherman? No, that's not the right one either.
I've got it listed.
I know, I've got it. Hold on, that's the Secret Service. There it is. No, that's the Secret Service again. That's Ryan Anderson.
He's in the Secret Service. The AI guy was a former Secret Service agent.
Okay, it's the same guy. So it is the same guy.
No.
I'm telling you, it's not the same guy. Is it a different guy? Because the two that you sent me are the same guy.
It's a different guy. It's a different guy. Do you want me to resend it to you right now?
I don't know, because I think. Hold on. Okay, then yes, this is it. It is the same guy. It's the same guy. It's just not the same clip. I think it's the same guy. No, they are two different guys. They just look a lot alike, and they both are analysts. So okay, here we go.
Okay, you know what? I'll send you the clip.
No, I've got it right here, Sarah. Just hang on a second. I got to stop the screen and put it on the other one. I have it. It's this one. Just a minute. Sorry, there is a delay. Outlandish, I'd love to hear your idea. Okay, yeah, it's this guy. Okay, here it is. Is this the right one?
That's not the same. Yeah, but that's not the same guy. So yeah, it is two different guys.
Unbelievable. Comments you guys left on our last couple of videos, and several people have brought up the theory that Mica's voice on the 911 recording could potentially be AI, that she didn't actually make the call. There are also reports that JP's lawyer specializes in the use of AI. This is all alleged, of course. Sounds impossible, right? That someone could take an audio recording of their voice, upload it to a software, give it a script, and get an AI-generated clone of their voice in less than 1 minute. And surely you would know if you were hearing the AI version of someone's voice, right? What if I told you that you're listening to an AI-generated clone of my voice right now, and I have yet to actually speak in this video? Would you believe
Wow.
that? So what you just heard was a cheap, free, AI-generated program that recreated my voice. Got pretty close.
Right.
So all the allegations in the Mica Miller case that AI was used to call 911 have to be taken seriously at this point. I did not realize how advanced this stuff and how scary this stuff is getting. So it just has to be considered. It's part of the case. We're going to stay on this thing. There is more to this. Thanks for your questions and comments. Keep them coming. I'm a retired FBI.
So that's that one.
Right. And then the other one is where they take the background noise out. And
right, so let's listen to that one.
And this is from the 911 call, guys.
So let's listen to that one. And this is where I want you guys to listen to where they say they think they hear Mica Miller. Now, I can hear it, but I also believe that that could be easily just a misnomer in there. I think that that could be some sort of noise that we're hearing that they're altering to sound that way. I mean, there's ways to enhance things that make things that aren't that real thing come. And once your brain hears it, your brain then does not hear it differently.
I mean, so I agree that I can see how some people think it says eyes forward. But I mean, it's either Mica Miller or eyes forward.
But I'm saying it could be nothing. It literally could be nothing. They could have enhanced it enough that a background noise could have sounded that way. They also could have added it in. So, you're just taking the validity of this at, face value here. You have to take everything with a grain of salt, especially when you're looking at a case like this that that is suspicious all the way around. I mean, that's basically why it took us 8 years on the Gypsy case, because there was just so many things and so many moving parts and so many things that didn't make sense. That you have to go through all of those different things that don't make sense before you actually get to what you really think happened. And it takes a long time, especially when you're dealing with so many moving parts. But here, let's listen to this. I'm sorry, it's buffering, of course.
It buffered on me earlier too.
Let me just try refreshing. I'm having a lag somewhere. Okay. Why is it not?
Of your emergency.
We have been reviewing the details of the Mica Miller investigation and
Of your emergency.
we have been reviewing the details of the Mica Miller investigation and going over the comments that you've left on our last video. Many of you have said that in her 911 call, before she starts speaking, you can hear a male's voice in the background. So we pulled that, isolated the audio, and this is what we found.
Robeson County 911. What's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Robeson County 911. What's the address of your emergency? Of your emergency.
There's definitely a man's voice that can be heard in the background. Many people believe he's saying Mica Miller's name.
See.
We isolated that portion of the 911 call, and we cleaned up the background noise, enhanced the audio, and this is what we found. We believe it's a person in the background of the 911 operator who says, "My folder."
Yeah.
Robeson County 911. What's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
This is a really sad investigation all the way around, and our hearts go out to Mica Miller and her family. There are a lot of weird details that don't add up, but we don't think that this is one of them. Let us know what you think. We're going to stay on top of this.
Of your emergency.
Huh.
I believe he's saying eyes forward.
I don't know. I need to. I'm going to see if I can have my guy that I work with enhance it some even more. But I mean, they obviously done enough. I don't know that we could even get it any clearer than that. But I don't hear anything completely 100% that I could say, yeah, it said Mica Miller or eyes folder or my folder. I just hear a voice. I do hear the voice, and then,
right.
But then that doesn't make sense if you're using an AI generated thing. Then how would it be a secondary voice?
I'm not sure. It could have been.
You wouldn't have that.
Would it be? Could it possibly be from the person who was playing the AI?
I would think it would sound different. I mean, I don't know enough about this. It's not my specialty. It's not my expertise. I'm not an AI person. I have friends that are, and I can ask them more about it. Yeah, I I don't know. I don't think
The point is that this case is wild and bizarre, and when you have CIA, ex-CIA, and secret service agents, and the Texas task force looking into this, and they're saying that anything and everything is possible.
What is wrong? She's in Papa's room. Go find her, baby. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a really hard one to think of, Yeah, you would think that, like she said, you would think that they would be silent for sure when playing an AI voice for this particular situation. See, I'm not sure that's AI. My thought process here is that I think it was a call made under duress, or it was a call for help in the way that she thought, much like I said the other night when I was talking about the 911 call and we were playing it, is that, in a crowded theater, when something happens, you don't scream out, rape, you scream out fire, right? So I'm wondering if she's thinking, if I tell them I'm going to kill myself, they're going to get here faster to try and stop me, maybe. I'm wondering if she could see him coming at her, or was he sitting in the car next to her with a gun at her? I mean, there are so many different pieces of this, but it doesn't make any sense in any way, shape, or form. That is 100%.
And we're gonna hear in a minute from her father and her sister in their first ever exclusive, and they're gonna talk about the ballistic situation, the location of the gun and the body, as well as the bruising that was on her body.
Right. So looking at that, okay, so if you're looking at the crime scene, that was the other thing I wanted to really look at, was the state park. And understanding, now, if you want to hear what her family has to say, I did a whole live on that yesterday morning. It's a 22-minute segment or 8-minute segment. I just basically did an opening and a closing on top of what their entire interview was with Jesse from Law and Crime. So, yeah, I think that they're right. They say that she didn't have mental health issues before she started with JP. Now that could be, that they could be wrong in that. They may not have seen the symptoms or what have you. I mean, mental health is a crazy thing. It can come on suddenly. It can be a slow burn. It's really just the circumstances that you're subjected to have a lot to play into that. So,
but you know what? She's not the only spouse he had that he abused. The first one has backed her up 100%.
Right.
And she said she's lucky to get out alive.
She was. She said he was getting to the point with her that was close to what she felt Mica was going through in the end, and she felt she was lucky to get out alive. That she felt like he was done to her what happened to Mica, and she believes that this is suspicious. Family believes it's suspicious. The parishioners believe it's suspicious. Destiny, how are you, honey? So it's just,
and it's so tragic. I mean, it's just so gut wrenching, and it just breaks my heart, because you can see, I mean, that sparkle in her eye and that sweet, kind, spirit and nature that she had, and her beautiful voice, and it's silenced now. And I don't want her voice to be silenced. I want us to fight for her and give her a voice. And
regardless of what happened, regardless of whether this is her committing suicide or her being, forced to commit suicide or murder, whatever way you want to look at it, any which way you look at it, JP had a hand in what happened. And
along with the church members, elders, and leaders, and his father. I mean, they're corrupt all the way down.
All the way down. And I think you're right, Atlanta. She was a true servant of God and was meant to make changes. And that, to me, also weighs heavy on my heart of, did she choose to take her life because she was so frustrated, or she thought that they were going to frame her for all of this embezzlement that was being investigated by the FBI already? I don't know. And she could have, felt like, I'm never going to escape him, and this is the only way to escape him. Rowdy,
well, I mean, the pastor, I'm not sure if you've seen the clips, where the text messages that, that he sent, talking about how he wanted to hurt her. And then he went and posted nude pictures of her online.
And I posted that up the other day. I posted it up, his apology to her, and in his apology to her, he's such a dick. He's like, well, it was only up for an hour, and I was just so mad at you for telling people about my past sins. So let's see. As a pastor, you have told people that you would cause bodily harm to people. You've told people to hit people. You've talked bad about your wife in front of the congregation. And now you're going to sit here and say that?
It's unreal, the things that he says. The more that I dig into his text messages and his letters and the phone calls, and then what he has said from the pulpit to his congregation, just blows my mind.
It really does. It really does. And a lot of his parishioners felt the same way.
And he, even when she was trying to hide at her sister's house, he threatened to come there. He said he was coming there armed and dangerous and was going to cause bodily harm.
I put that out today too.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
This man is a complete lunatic.
Right. So the next clip that I have, because I've already played the families. They do a lot of confirming of some of the stuff that we're going to talk about here. If you want to hear it, though, definitely you can listen to my 28-minute one, because I just don't think we're going to have enough time to cover everything we wanted to. So I've already done that one for you guys, and I think you guys can listen to that one on that video. But what I have next here, this is the
Sorry about
Fisherman.
that, guys. My phone just fell. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that loud crash.
Oh, yeah. I just touched your phone. Okay, so the next one, this is the fisherman who heard Mica Miller's call. This is all about that. So this is from ABC 15. So let me go ahead and get that up here for you guys. Because I think that the fishermen and the kayakers, first of all, I originally thought they were the same two people. And so I couldn't quite understand why there would be two different accountings of this. And then I learned that there was a fisherman, and then there were kayakers in a boat, in a kayak, fishing. So I believe this is the man who said that he heard the shots, the crying, and all of that. But I mean, this is suspicious again. I'm sorry. I think every aspect of this is it does, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Like, this is very suspicious. Every single piece of this, you go, that doesn't make any sense. And it may be that we just don't have all the pieces, but something is not adding up here for me. And Destiny, I'm very sorry for your loss. We've all suffered losses recently. And I am a suicide survivor. So, and that was what I was talking about with Mica before we played this call. So, if you are really resolute in your Christian faith.
Let me tell you something. I just forgot about this, but 7:00 yesterday morning, I got a phone call from my sister, and her daughter's best friend was her daughter's best friend's uncle, who was like her everything, her father figure, her brother, her uncle, everything to her. He was in his early 40s and took his own life on over the weekend. So this is an epidemic in our nation, and that's why this hoax that we just went through, this is not funny.
No, it's not. But what I was going to say, and yeah, it has become a pandemic of suicide, and it upticked through the pandemic itself, through the COVID pandemic.
Right.
It became, because then you were trapping abusers and abusees in the home all day together. Whereas, there was moments of relief as husbands go to work or the wife goes to her job or whatever, and nobody was leaving the home. So it became a very tumultuous situation. We even did two podcasts about it in our second season of the Good Wives Guide to True Crime. We interviewed a victimologist who specializes in suicide and partner violence, and then we also interviewed a lady whose husband tried to pull this kind of thing where he tried to kill her and blame her for her own suicide. It happens. This is not unusual. But what I was going to say if you are a true shepherd of God, if you are truly a follower and you are truly have Christ in your heart and you are extremely spiritual, especially a pastor's wife, suicide is looked at as the ultimate sin. Okay, it's the one sin that many religions believe you can't atone for, because you can't ask for forgiveness and you are snuffing out God's precious life that he gave you. And so I've struggled with that in my own thought process of, if I were to take my life, does that mean I go to hell? Because in the Presbyterian and Baptist religions that I was raised in, that's exactly what they tell us. You go to hell.
Exactly. And that's what I said to you. I said, there's two things that stand out to me that go completely against the religion, the faith that she was involved in. One is suicide, and two is cremation.
Yeah. Well, cremation, I don't have a problem with. My mother was cremated. We were, my grandfather was. Not everybody was cremated, so I don't see where that correlates. I know that some religions don't, but
yes,
I think
a lot of Christian denominations do not believe in cremation because for different reasons.
I don't think in this case that plays into it at all.
Well, she did not want to be cremated, and her family did not want her cremated.
Right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't feel that it's a religious belief as to why the cremation is a problem. I believe that he rushed to have her cremated so we would have no body.
Exactly. And they didn't even get to, complete the full autopsy before he had her cremated.
Right.
Now, are you going to play the clip of him raising her from the dead?
Yeah, that's in the memorial whenever we get to that. But yeah, so in my opinion, with as faithful as she was, a real bringer of the Lord, a real testament to the Lord, it would be very, very unusual for her to do this, because I have literally sat on my bed with a gun in my hand and thought to myself, I just want to stop. I don't want the world to do this anymore. And I put it away because the last thing on earth that I ever wanted was to never be able to see my mother again. And I know my mom went to heaven. And if I kill myself, then I'm not going to join my family in heaven. And I can't live with that. I struggle with my faith all the time. But that's the one thing I've always stuck with me, is that, I'd rather be cautious and get eternity with my family than to not be cautious and end up in hell for all eternity. And I don't feel that I would do that. Like, I really struggle with that thought process. But I personally didn't want to take a chance. That was, religion can only take you so far into understanding God. It's written by men, it's taught by men. It's a concept we can't even fathom. It's very, very controversial. It's extremely personal. And I just feel, from the way that she was such a faithful, devoted Christian woman, if she took her life, there has to be an extremely good reason. And it's not just that she was filing for divorce and she didn't think that she was going to escape him, in my opinion. I just don't think that's what it is.
It's just a terrible tragedy. Right. And there's nobody There is no one in this. I don't believe there's anyone in this world that has not been touched by suicide.
Yeah, no. And Fu Panda, you're right. Knowing that he had just been served for papers for divorce, it shouldn't have been up to JP. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Yes. And the reason he got away with it is because he had that power of attorney.
And see, I've heard that that's false now, too. Much like what Dee Dee pulled with Gypsy. Okay, but let's play this Fisherman call here.
We start tonight with continuing coverage on the death of Mica Miller, the estranged wife of John Paul Miller, former pastor at the Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach. This week, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office, they released a timeline of what happened the day Mica died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the Lumber River State Park. Now, tonight, the man who reported hearing Mica crying and the sound of a gunshot at that state park is sharing how his character is now under attack. He says it's destroying his life, and he wants the baseless attacks that he's seeing on social media to stop. He talked with ABC 15's Tanya Brown. She joins us now live from the Robeson County Sheriff's Office in Lumberton.
Andrew, the fisherman says he never thought fully cooperating with the police investigation and telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth would lead to him being unfairly targeted on social media. I met 55-year-old Johnny Jacobs today at an undisclosed location in Robeson County. He didn't want me to show his face because he's concerned for his safety after being bashed and targeted on social media.
It's like putting my life in danger with some of the things that's been said.
Jacobs tells me he'd been fishing for several hours on April 27th at the Lumber River State Park when he heard a faint cry. He says 2 or 3 minutes later, he heard a gunshot.
I said, oh my God, don't tell me, because the crying had stopped. I said, don't tell me something's happened, don't tell me something. I was getting ready to get out of there. Another 3 people came into the lake on a boat, and I plainly asked them, I said, did y'all hear that gunshot? They said yes.
Jacob says he couldn't see anything because of all the trees blocking his view.
This here's the park, of course. This is where I put my boat in at.
He showed me a map on his phone of the Lumber River State Park to better show his location on the river that day.
You see how thick the woods are? That's why I couldn't see nothing. So right along in here is where I found Mica's belongings at.
He says he found Mica's backpack, glasses, and cell phone on the bank and gave them all to deputies on scene. He says he didn't know Mica and has no reason to lie to police. Johnny Jacobs wants the unfair targeting against him to end.
I want this to stop as far as me. I don't want to make this all about me because I'm still thinking about Mica. I'm trying to respect her family, and I got total respect for them, and I am so sorry for what they're going through. I never thought my day would turn out like that.
The Robeson County medical examiner has also been bashed on social media for how he ruled Mica's death as a suicide. Now, the North Carolina State Medical Examiner's Office, I reached out to them today to get information on if an autopsy was done on Mica's body, and I am still waiting to learn that answer. Live in Lumberton, Tanya Brown, ABC 15 News.
Okay. So this man, I don't know what to think about the fisherman. I mean, listen, I'm suspicious of every single person in this thing. It's just my nature. I learned to be that way, especially dealing with the case that I've dealt with, dealing with the Gypsy case. I don't take anybody's statements at face value. I want to go and check it out for myself, see the evidence, hold it in my hand, speak to the person, and know what I'm seeing, But I feel terrible that this poor guy is now being, stalked and harassed for what? For calling it in, and it's
He
hard.
didn't call it in. He didn't call it in.
I thought he did. Is he not?
No, ma'am. No. As the police were on their way there, and he found Mica's belongings and her body and the gun, and he didn't call 911. He picked up her bag and all her stuff and put it in his truck and was leaving the park as the police were coming in, and they stopped each other, and he said, "Do you all know a Mica Miller?" Because he had her ID, and they were like, "Yeah, that's who we're, here for." And he handed him the purse and then went back and showed him everything. So no, he did not call 911.
Oh, well, I thought that they did. Did the canoe or kayakers call? I swear that one of them called.
The kayak people, the kayaker called 911.
Okay. See,
but also another thing to note is that she had $500 cash in her purse.
And was it found in the purse?
I don't know.
We'll have to look into that. And see, people were saying that she was struggling for money, and now you're saying she had $500 in her purse. She goes in and buys a handgun.
Right. That's what a lot of people are saying is where did that cash come from? Because she bought the gun and the ammunition and all that stuff, and it was quite a bit. And then she had $500 cash in her purse. And they don't know where the cash came from.
That's interesting. So there's no bank receipt or anything like an ATM?
No. Nope. They already checked with the bank.
Wow.
Because they're pulling financials on her and everything. They've already been pulling financials on her because JP had accused her of embezzlement, which she did get cleared from, but they have access to all of her stuff.
Right. And he did that when he put her in the hospital. I mean, when he put her in the mental institution, he set himself up. And do you know how long before the suicide attempt or whatever we're calling this, the death, do you know how long before that it was that she had been in the psych ward at that point?
I believe it was.
You can just stuff your fucking bullshit up your ass. You know what? You've already been rude several fucking times, and I'm just not having it. You know what? We are investigating it to its fullest extent, and maybe that there is not an AI person. I didn't say there was. I said that it is what people are saying, and it is possible. So you can just go on with your bullshit. Do you understand me? I don't need your crap tonight. Thank you. We're talking about something very serious, and you're not being serious. Hate people when they're acting like jackasses. Anyway.
You know what? There's 2 dates that I know were important, and one was February, one was October. And I'll look back and see the article.
But it was within a year.
Huh?
But it was within the year?
Yeah. And I think it's very suspicious that, she drops the divorce in October and he forces her to sign that prenup. They've been married for several years.
I don't find it suspicious at all at this point. I mean, yes, it's suspicious because it's suspicious, but within the realm of this case, I don't find it suspicious at all. I think he put her in the mental institution. I think he then plotted to take her out somehow, and either she did it because she knew he was going to and she thought it would be covered up, which is very possible, or he did it. That's the two possibilities here. There is no other possibility in my mind.
He had somebody else do it. Somebody else.
I know, but when I say he did it, that means that's the realm of everybody. That could be him hiring a hitman to do it. It could be my ex-wife doing it. It could be any of that. But it would have been because of him and his actions and who he asked to do it. That's
right.
Yeah. So either way.
So he refiles for divorce again 10 days later, and then drops it. And then she files again in April, and 48 hours later, she's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think he started that emotion when he put her in the mental institution and moved all her shit out of his house.
Well, and the slashing of her tires that happened twice in 1 week, guys, it wasn't a razor, it wasn't a knife, it was actually a tire deflation device that you can order off of Amazon or buy at any store, and it punctures the tire and slowly releases the air out of it.
So it's a slow release.
Yep. And
How long
it's an
would that
actual.
take, Craig? If you put, so her tires were not slashed. They didn't run over something. It was an actual deflation device that deflates it over time. Have you ever heard of that?
A deflation device?
Yes. Sarah, say it again. Tell him what you said.
Yes, it was twice in 1 week. She had her tires, they said, slashed, and she had told them at the dealership that she thought it was a razor, and then they told her after they pulled it out, no, this is actually a deflation device. They said it's the same kind that police officers use when they put that across the road, but it's just one single tiny device, and it releases the air. And so then once they found that, pulled that out of her tire and changed her tire, they found the GPS tracking device attached underneath her car.
That's not the kind of thing normal people have access
Well, this isn't normal. So
no, it was something that was purchased intentionally.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not something you can just go to AutoZone and buy.
So a device like that, is that a device that would like puncture it and then it would like slowly seep out over time and you wouldn't notice? Like, so instead of
it happened, I mean, it would have happened over 12 hours, 24 hours. I mean, it's.
So she would have been driving on it.
Yes. And it could have blown out.
Okay, exactly. And so I'm thinking that is the first attempt at trying to,
and they did it twice. They did it twice.
It does it twice. It doesn't work.
And they found the GPS tracking device.
Right.
So she called the police that day once to report the tire, and then had called them again because while at the dealership getting her tire replaced, they found the tracking device under her car and removed it. So then she had to call the police again.
Mica got baptized on Easter Sunday with another church.
I don't know anything about that.
Is that true?
I know I've seen some baptism pictures.
I know she was going to another church. Did she get baptized on Easter Sunday with another church? That's very important to the timeline. Because if that happened, that could be the inciting incident for why he decided he was going to do this now. And getting baptized does not speak to someone who's thinking of ending their life. It speaks to somebody who thinks that they're going to start their life over. I knew she had been
recently baptized.
Okay, my husband and I, literally, we talked about this all last year. And we were struggling, and I was struggling with faith. We lost Christina. I'd been sick. Craig was sick. All these different things. And my daughter brought us to church again. Like, we haven't gone to church in a long time steadily. I have a lot of problems with churches. I find them hypocritical. I find the hypocrisy just overwhelming in many of them. And so I've had my own relationship with God for many years. My daughter brought us back to church the end of last year. And on January, the very first freaking weekend in January that we had service, my husband and I got baptized. That morning, I woke up and I knew it was going to happen. We had talked about it. We were talking about doing it. We were, he had been sick. We'd been putting it off. And I hit church that morning and I just knew. I knew it was the right time. It needed to be done. And he was like, well, I'll just do mine next week. And I said, no, you are not. You're getting that water with me today, or I'm not getting in the water today. And I'm getting in the water today. Do you hear me? And he was like, all right, let's go. And we split second did it. And it was exactly that. I needed to feel like I could put everything that had happened, especially in the last 8 years, but all 48 years of my life behind me. And I could start fresh. And I could find the peace that I had been searching for so long, because I am a tormented soul. And, and I've been through a lot. And so making that decision on Easter Sunday to go and get baptized at another church is an absolute slap in the fucking face to him. And it's very emotional for her. That is not a time of that's a time of joy and happiness and peace. No,
Well, I think that's why she did it. She did that because she wanted joy and happiness and peace and a fresh start.
right.
And
And how Easter eggs.
remember this year, guys, Easter was early this year. It was the end of March.
That's what I was saying. And so when does her passing is April 27th, and
Yeah, so just about a month.
And then I heard this last voicemail she left him on February 6th of 2024. That was horrible to listen to. It was just, she was just broken, trying to tell him that it was her fault, that she shouldn't have left him, that she should have just endured with him. Like, so classic battered wife syndrome, like it's all their fault and they're the ones that should atone and they're the ones that feel bad. The guy never feels bad. He probably fucking falls asleep while she's out on the couch crying. It's just, man. All right. I'm really feeling I think you're very right, guys. That baptism that's a key point. I did not know about that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I got a lot to say about that now. I got to think on that. All right. Let's see what we've got up next here in the lineup of, we're never going to get through all of this. That's new video, audio, and statement from the police about the FBI involvement. No, I don't want to play that one.
Let's get to the memorial where he just discussed
That's what I'm trying to find right
us.
now. That's what I'm trying to find right now is where I put
Absolutely disgusting. I cannot believe he did the memorial service and the funeral.
Okay, so first of all, I do want to play this 53-second clip of the drone footage real quick for you guys. That was one of the things I had up here, so let's get that one done real quick. So here you go. Oh, it has no sound. So there you go. So this is the park, and it's walking the path I would assume that she probably had to take.
There's so much foliage.
I mean, it's heavily covered. It's
right.
very
Lots of foliage.
Lots of foliage. Yeah. And so
that's a boat ramp.
Yep, and this is where it ends. I mean, it's a 20-minute walk through a very tumultuous terrain, covered completely. If you're going to call and you want to make sure that your phone can be tracked so that your family can find you, first of all, I just want you guys to understand the statistics do not support women killing themselves by method of gun. It doesn't happen very often. Okay, that's the first thing. Women generally take pills. I took pills. Guns are messy. Women don't like messy. They feel guilt that their family are going to have to clean up something that's messy. They're very, there's a lot of things that go into this. It's not just you just decide to take your life and you just blow your head off that moment. It's not like that, especially not for women. It can be for men, but I think women take it much more. It's a longer process to get there. And knowing that, thinking that, why would she cross the state lines, go to some park that she's not familiar with, walk 20 minutes out into nowhere, go out into an area that is roped off or chained off, so you're not supposed to be back there, and do this if her whole thing was that she wanted her family to find her easily?
Right. It makes no sense.
That makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. It makes no sense to me. And there was a discharged bullet, now that I understand.
Yes, there were 3 casings found and 1 live round of ammunition, and they actually found a bullet in one of the trees. So that means that to me that really kind of blows the fisherman's story out of the water, because he said he heard one shot, and now we know there were multiple shots. Her father described
But
it
I
all.
also think there was some suspicion about the case for the gun. There's a gray one and a black one, and they're not the same. One is in the car and one is not, and there was a lot of stuff to do with that. I can't remember what I looked up, but it was very suspicious.
Also, yes, the color of the cases were different. Even the, where she went to purchase the gun, the video is very strange. I mean, in one shot she's wearing her necklace, and the next shot she's not.
I have that whole, they just released today. It just came out today. The full video surveillance of her in that store.
They didn't. And what about her when she's making the purchase? Her hand on
does not have a tattoo, right?
Right, and she's actually got. If you look at it, I sent you the clip. It shows that she has like 6 fingers. So there was something distorted or something wrong with that video footage. And then also, everyone has said that she had changed that she was in a different set of clothing. She was wearing something different than what she'd been wearing at the pawn shop that day, or the gun shop. She was wearing a different outfit when they found her than what she was wearing previously.
I've seen the ring footage on that, and I think she was wearing a jacket and that was underneath. Like I don't find that suspicious at all. She could have just taken her jacket off. Maybe she was hot, and
I thought she had switched into a dress, Fancy. I thought she was in a dress.
No. Both times I saw her, she was wearing pants. One, she was wearing like a sports outfit.
Right. I mean, she's wearing at the gun shop. She's wearing a black top and black jeans or black pants. But when they found her in the river, she was in a dress.
Oh, now see, I didn't know that. I'm talking about from the house to the footage at the pawn shop. That could be very well explained. She took her jacket off. She had a shirt underneath, because it was.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the jacket. No.
I didn't know.
I'm talking about a completely different outfit. Yeah.
I haven't even got that far into this. This is so freaking layered. You can't even begin to start to look forward to in it. It's Jesus. So she was in a dress.
Yes, that's what I have heard, that she was in a dress. She was not in the same outfit that she'd been seen in a few hours previously at the gun shop.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. So we've got, hold on, I'm not going to get to that one. Okay. Here's the announcement that he makes. Now, mind you, he does 2 services, full services, before he does this announcement. And this announcement is what, in my mind, made me stand up and go, well, all the hairs on my back of my neck going, hey, this is weird. This is not normal. Something is wrong here. I mean, I just can't imagine. I understand if you've got, a devoutness to the Lord and your parishioners or whatever, fine, I get it. But I just can't imagine standing there for 2 different fucking services, knowing that your wife is dead and that she's done this tragic thing, and you're just standing there cool as a fucking cucumber, like nothing freaking happened. Like, you're just normal Sunday, guys. Hey, how are we? It blows my freaking mind. So here we go with this little clip here.
Instead, I'm going to have you stand up, and I'm going to make an announcement. And after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can. So y'all can stand to your feet. Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next, little bit. I don't want to have. I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks. I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina. And we're gonna have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can. Yeah, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her.
This is Pastor John Paul Miller of Solid Rock at.
Exactly, Celeste. His face is 100% so fucking dry. I mean, he could be in shock. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I try to play the devil's advocate as much as I fucking can. But, man, if there was ever a guy making himself look freaking guilty, it's this douchebag. Are you there, Sarah? Sarah, are you in? No? Right, and he goes on and talks about how charming he was. The whole sermon is bizarre. You know, in the first place. Sarah, are you there? I'm going to remove her. Hopefully she'll come back in again. Sarah? Sarah, you're going to have to come back in if you didn't hear me. Okay, so that was that. What do you guys think of that? What do you think? It's like one part of me wants to believe this guy, right? One part of me wants to believe that he probably drove her to take her own life. That's the tragic story right there, right? Like he abused her and he bullied her and just groomed her until she could take no more, and she takes her life. Or there's something much more sinister going on here. And I walk that fence every day. Oh, you sent me the baptism video? Okay, hold on. Let me grab it, Swanee. Let me pull that up because I really do want to see that. Where'd you send it? Did you send it to me personally or did you send it in our group chat, Swanee? Hold on. Maybe you sent it here. No. Hold on. I don't know how he could even speak. I know I would not be able to. Even if it was my ex, if it was my ex, I'd still be tore up that I couldn't do it. I'm looking for Swanee. I cannot find where you sent it to me, baby. Where did you send it? You've got to tell me in the chat. Or if someone else has it and has me on Facebook, if you want to hit me up with the baptism video, yes, I'd very much like to show that. Anyway, Sadie, can you hear me this time, babe? Sarah, what is going on? It's not even allowing me to mute your mic, so something's got to be wrong with you. I don't know what's going on here. All right, baby, you're gonna have to try to come back in again. I don't know what to do. Weird. Couple of things, please. I mean, and you know what? I did get the same feeling about Orson and Orrin Welles. West. I did too. Outlandish, and that was one we were watching for a while there, and it kind of just fell away. But yeah, I mean, in the group, Fancy. Okay. Thank you. I'll go in there just now and get it. Thank you. Let's see if this is it. Oh, okay, here it is. Yeah, all right. Is it the celebration of life where Mica was baptized on Easter Sunday? Is that it? That's the one I've got right here. I think that's going to be it. Let's see. Is it this one, guys?
That's my story, my testimony. That's the story I'll tell. I'll be.
That didn't show very much, did it? Huh. Huh. So it was like an outdoor group ceremony for on Easter Sunday. Wow. That's I don't know. All right, guys. So let's see. Where am I at in my lineup of this? Okay, so this is the memorial service. This thing work? Like, what is going on here? Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. I've got the memorial service and I have the I've got the memorial service and the funeral. I have about enough time to play one of them. Which one would you guys rather see? The memorial that he held first, or the funeral? Well, yeah, Apple, I agree. He could be in shock. He could be in a state of just absolute grieving process. I don't know. I don't know the man well enough yet. I have not investigated enough into this. I can tell that there is a pattern of domestic abuse here. I can absolutely 100% say that I believe that's there. Okay, you guys want to hear the memorial first. All right, let me see what I got here. That's the funeral. I hear you. Okay, I can't get the memorial service to play for some reason, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the with this funeral, and that's what we're going to go with. Sorry, guys, I can't get the memorial to do so. And I also have the memorial from her family that I'd like to play, but I'm not going to get to that tonight. So this is the funeral that he mentioned in his last thing. I don't know what happened to Sarah. I don't know if her internet died or if she got booted out or what, but we'll just continue on here and hopefully she'll return back to us. But here we go. This is the actual funeral. It is 28 minutes. So we'll close out with this. We'll give our final thoughts after listening, and then we will continue on with our investigation into this case.
God bless you. We welcome you to a celebration of life for my little girl. I call her Sister Miller on today. And we came to celebrate. I know it's a time of sadness and we are missing someone very special, but we want to celebrate the life that she lived, okay? And I was close to that for a short period of time. And so we want to celebrate today. So I just want to start off with scripture and prayer. Then I'm going to share very briefly how she impacted my life. And I pray that it will be a blessing to you as well. Amen. I would like to read from First Thessalonians chapter 4, beginning at verse 13. It says, "But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that you sorrow not, as those that have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, so then also them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him when he come. For this we say unto you by the word of God, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain until the coming shall be caught up with them in the air to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we forever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort you one another with these words. Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we thank you. We praise you, Lord, for this time. God, we thank you, oh God, for the time that you have allowed us to spend with Mica, Lord. God, we thank you, oh God, for the light that she brought into our life. God, we thank you for the way that you use her in this short time that she was here, oh God. God, I pray, oh God, that you strengthen the family and the church body, God, that have come to love her, oh God. Strengthen them today, oh God, and assure them that you will take them through this season. And we just thank you, oh God. We give you the glory, the honor, and the praise. We ask it in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Now, I want to read one of the scriptures. I'm just talk very briefly on behalf of
Hey, guys.
Oh, we can actually hear you now.
Yeah.
And
My
over
internet
in
went out.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6.
Are you going to play
I
the
have
whole thing
planted,
here?
Apollo watered,
well,
but God giveth
I mean,
the increase.
this minister speaks for a long time before JP comes up.
Okay, well here I didn't think he did, but you're right. He talks for at least 6 minutes here, so let's fast forward here. Okay.
I don't know which is worse, the funeral or the memorial.
I don't know, but I couldn't get the memorial to play. So let's just watch this here, and I'll look it up.
I've been speaking.
How? I mean, her family had to be devastated
I don't really know exactly
that he was the one
how to
leading this.
concerning that.
Yeah.
I'm just everyone knew how beautiful she was on the outside, but only I think a spouse knows how beautiful that person is on the inside. So I want to take a few minutes to just kind of tell some stories and just share some things about Mica that you may have, I don't know, shock you or help you get to know the more intimate side of her.
He is so
She was
disgusting.
beautiful on the outside. She had won so many beauty pageants, when she was young, and
Look, I don't, Apple or whoever's asking about the dress, I don't know. I'm looking it up right now, but I can't seem to find it, and I have not seen that yet. So when we find it out, we will share where the dress came from, and I will talk about it. But right now, I don't have any more confirmation on the fact that she was found in a dress.
Right, and that could
so
be
we'll go on from that.
Right, and that could have been reported incorrectly online. I mean, I did look at 2 different sources, but if it's
I want you
incorrect,
guys to, yeah, right, sure. I want you guys to know something that I just found as I was looking on the Robbie Harvey. He's very informed about this. Kyler Marlowe is very informed about this, and that's where we're pulling a lot of our information from. Solid Rock, Jesus, the audacity of these people. Solid Rock announced 2 days ago
I know what you're going to say.
They are moving forward with their multi-million-dollar project, despite their pastor, John Paul Miller, being under FBI investigation. They're excited to see all the members at our meeting on May 19th at 5 p.m.
They also posted on their website that the website was down. Now, how did you post from the website that the website was down? Because people were complaining that the church's website has been completely changed, completely rewritten and redone. And they put a comment out on the page saying the account was down. So make sense.
I know. Apple, I've heard that too. I know about the swaying. I do it. Mine has to do with my legs more than my anxiety, but I do it when I am anxious. But yes, it can be faked though as well. And he could be legitimately anxious. He's standing in front of his parishioners, and he might have actually killed his wife. So, I mean, there could be a lot of reasons why he's swaying back and forth, but good call on that. So let me go ahead and keep playing this here. We've got, we're 7 minutes in, so we've got 20 more minutes to go. And I have been told that I have a hard out at 10 o'clock. We're going to push this as fast as we can, guys. Here we go.
I won her trophies here where she won Sockesty Idol. Let me tell you, just to talk about how pretty she was on the outside. When she went to one school, she won the Miss whatever the school was, beauty pageant, and then her family moved and she went to another school and she won the Miss Beauty pageant for that school too. So it was the first time in that county's history that someone won, both the pageants. But it really hadn't hit me. I've gotten to spend as Christians, of course, we know she's not here and in heaven, and she's worshiping and enjoying, and I hadn't even had time to look down here yet. But I got this lay next to her body and spend time with her body about 4 times this week, and each time it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up. I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week, and
Pause. I can't. Fancy, I can't hear you. Nobody can hear it.
Before you speak, I know your thoughts and feelings on him, but what I'm observing and what
you were muted. You were muted.
I know. What I'm observing and what I've heard him say here is that he laid with her body several times before she was cremated. He seems extremely distraught, and he's describing. You can send me links either through our website, like our email, tipsforgoodwives@gmail.com, or you can send it into any of our social media platforms where we get direct messages in BTS. Okay, and he's stating that he even tried to raise her from the dead. Okay. My mind goes to 2 things. One is the thought process that you're going to go down, and I'm letting you tell that. But my other thought process here is that is more of a I was not in my right mind, and I was doing anything I could to bring her back. And so it could be that. It could literally be that. And he's speaking, philosophically and spiritually, not in the realness of this. But I also think if you're a narcissistic sociopath, which I believe him to be, he would use that type of thought process to think that would pull at the strings of the parishioners. I don't know, and make him look better. What do you feel like? It makes him look like the grieving husband, right? But it makes him creepy as fuck.
It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, what is this? Like some Norman Bates crap? He's trying to pull a Lazarus here. He's laying with her dead corpse, and then he wants to resurrect her like Jesus did with Lazarus. I mean, is he that powerful? Does he really think he's that powerful?
No, I don't think he thinks that at all. I don't think he meant it in the fact that he really tried to raise her from the dead. I think
he prayed over her body and tried to raise her from the dead in the name of Jesus. Yes, he did.
Well, let's just keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I'm over here drinking Pepto-Bismol. That's how upset I am.
Later, she had bought me this dog tag, and the chain broke, so I went to the mall to get it fixed. And I saw a female about 20, 30 feet in front of me, and she was wearing one of Mica's dresses, and she had the same tattoo Mica has on her arm and the exact same hair. And out of just instinct, I screamed, "Mica!" And the girl turned around, and it was one of her sisters. I thought,
can you imagine?
Dad, she's alive, But I can't wait to see her again one day.
Jesus. Could you imagine how painful that must have been and traumatic that must have been for her sister? It's like, was he following her? Is he following the family now? Does he have GPSs on their cars? can't hear you. You're muted.
I keep muting because my family's very loud and I want them to be able to hear this very silent freaking funeral. And I don't know. I just, I can't imagine what her poor sister was thinking. And yeah, maybe he is following them. That makes sense. Like, but then again, it's a smaller community, right? It's a small southern town. I don't know how big the population is. I'm not familiar with
Myrtle Beach. It's Myrtle Beach. There's
well,
tons of malls in Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is a shopping center.
Yeah. So then, yeah, no. Why, unless they're shopping at the one right down from their house, and they both live in the same area, like the same neighborhood. Then yeah, you know, I can't.
No.
I can't. I try and try to give him the benefit of the doubt because that's my job. Okay, when I investigate, I take very seriously the idea of innocent until proven guilty. I don't believe that there's any other way to investigate. I don't believe that there's any other way that our justice system can work, because if we start looking and calling people guilty before they've gone through a court of law and we've seen everything and we've seen all the evidence, then we are no better than the murderers, in my opinion. Okay, because we're sentencing people to things without even, it's a public opinion, and I don't think that's a fair justice system, and it's part of the problem.
I tell you what, take a vote with the viewers. How many of you think that JP was responsible, and how many of you think he's going to get away with it?
Mama, what? Oh, hold on.
That's my question, you guys. How many of you think JP was involved? I can't see the chat. And how many of you think he'll get away with it?
Oh, Sarah, I'm not stating that I don't believe that. I can have my own belief system, but when I investigate, I do my best to put my thought process, my own personal opinion aside and look at just facts and evidence. It's how we were successful in actually determining what we know about Gypsy's case, even though all the outside stuff got into us and clouded all of it. We still kept looking at the facts and evidence with a very objective thought process. So
right, but I don't have 8. You know what? I don't have 8 years though. I don't have 8 years to put in on this guy.
No, we don't. We don't have 8 years. But this is a case that I think is going to have lots of twists and turns, lots of layers. And I'm not officially ready to say, hang him up and lock away the key. I'm not. I think he's very narcissistic. I do think he's very sociopathic. But can I say that I could sit on a jury and say that he did it? No. Not yet. We don't know enough yet. Can I say that I think he might? I don't think he did it. I don't think he personally did it. I think if it was done by him, he got a pastor, he got an elder of the church to do so, or his attorney, whose property is where she was actually found.
Right. And if you guys haven't seen the interview with her father, he describes her bruising where she had bruises on her hand, where somebody was forcefully holding her hand, and they believe that they were forcing her to hold the gun. And then on the other arm, she had bruise and there were fingerprints.
And see, without the body now and not a good autopsy and not a full criminal investigation, we're missing a lot of pieces, like the trajectory of the bullet.
So you know what is a big piece for me that pisses me off so bad? I'm already furious about this cremation, right? And I know he did it to cover this up, but they didn't even get to check to see whether she had water in her lungs or not.
Right. Right.
I mean, that should have been like test 1, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I do think if it is possible that he did this, and if so, yes, I do believe he can get away with it. Absolutely, I do. But the FBI is hot on his case, not just for this. They're looking at him for embezzling. They're looking at the church for misappropriating funds. They're looking at the elders, his father. If they had a freaking neighbor, they're looking at the neighbor right now. The FBI is very on to him.
And there are so many allegations of grooming and child molestation within this church and the church elders and leaders,
Right. So
including JP himself.
Right. I'm not going to get through the rest of this funeral tonight, guys. What I'll do is I'll make sure to put it up tomorrow for you guys to watch it on our channel, with some commentary that I'll record a little later tonight with Sarah, maybe, if she will. If not, I'll record it, and we'll get through the rest of this. And we'll be, like I said, we're going to be updating on this case the entire time. So we've got about 5 minutes here. I'd really love to hear from our viewers. Where are you at on this case? What are your thoughts and feelings? And what else would you like us to be looking at? You know, like I said, if you have suggestions, tips, you know, evidence, anything on any case ever that we are working on or you'd like us to work on, you're more than welcome to send it to tipsforgoodwives@gmail.com. I check it every day, and I personally respond to most of the people. And so I'm very heavily involved in our email. And
I try my best also on the Good Wives Facebook page to go through and respond to everybody's DM messages. And I know there's a couple I need to get back with, but we've just been so super swamped. So thank you guys for your patience on that. I did not forget you. Also, for the Good Wives Network fans page, the by proxy, I also go through and approve posts and memberships for that. So don't forget to join those as well. But you know, this case has literally changes hour by hour. I've never seen a case that's changed so much so quickly. It's like we get one thing prepared to discuss, and by the time we get it ready, something else has come out.
Right. MBTS, please send me the link to that, because I just don't have time to go look for every single thing every single time, and I really do want to see that one. I've been looking for that. Apple, you know, I agree. I definitely do think he's shady. You know, he's definitely shady. Something does feel off about him, and I agree. My gut instinct on this is that he's definitely involved, that there is something wrong with this man, that he either drove her to this, and that's got to be just years and years and years and years and years of psychological warfare, or he had something to do with it, and we will uncover that. But I really believe that this case is going to just grow like a wildfire. I've already seen it happening.
And I am going to continue putting justice for Mica on my posts that I share.
Right. I mean, we're definitely, you know, guys, we're trying to get away from just talking about this one specific case of Gypsy. Now, I've talked about it for 8 years, and I'm writing a book. I've got 3 books in the works and a docuseries, and I'm kind of done. You know, that's why we only have the once a week, and then we do our chromosome.
Oh God, did she freeze or is it me?
No, it's you. I'm fine. We do our chromosome deletion, education of the day. I've been putting those out on all platforms because I really want you guys to understand how this chromosome disorder really does affect Gypsy's case. That is important to me because it really, really changes everything. And I believe it was the missing piece that we all needed. I think that Dan is still a misnomer, and we need to find out more about that situation of what actually happened the night and 2 nights before. But I think we, within a shadow of a doubt, are 99% certain of what all happened and what's gone down over the 32 years of this girl's life. So we're trying to move away from that. This is definitely a case we're going to be taking a special interest in. It will be a source of my Rising Crime morning shows. And I'm sure we'll do more pop-ups like this next week. We intend to cover this minute by minute, day by day. So be looking on our TikTok, our Good Wives TikTok, because that's at Good Wives Net 2, the number 2, because that's where I'm going to start doing all of the Mica Miller stuff. I don't want it to be all on the Spicy Red page, because that's where I get to be spicy and I get to be sarcastic and my Gen X self, whereas this is more important to me to be more professionally done and more, you know.
Also, if we don't get 1,000 followers before Saturday, we can't go live and do the Preakness.
Right. Not on TikTok. We can only do it over here on StreamYard.
And then
So
you can't see me.
yeah, and then you can't see her. Well, I don't know why your camera doesn't work. It's so weird. My camera on my phone works.
Mine doesn't, because maybe it's because I have an Android, but no camera.
No, I don't think he has been found since Jip has released, but you know, we don't have the right Dan, so who fucking knows? I guess he's just mystery man number 5. Anyway.
But we heard he's looking. We heard she's looking for him.
We heard she's looking for him, you know, so maybe Ken ain't giving her such a fire key. I don't.
So, but you know what, guys? The police are looking for him too. So either way, we just really hope somebody finds him soon.
Finds him. Yeah, I'd like to have a talk with him. I don't know. Natasha supposedly talked to him. I have my suspicions about that. She knows I have my suspicions about that. I have been on her junk about that for years because I don't believe she did that. But she's pretty convincing in what she says about it. So I don't know. You know, we were both fed terrible information about each other to cloud our judgment as to what we could or could not do or believe or set aside for the case. We have cleared those differences to be able to set it aside, to work on telling the truth of this case, because I do believe she has information that I don't have, especially since she talked with Nicholas for a very long time. And I did not. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to listening to her and learning from her some of the things. And of course, I will vet them myself because that's just how I am. I tell you guys to vet everything that I put out. You know, if you don't do your own research, then you're not doing anything. You need to go and figure it out for yourself too. You need to make sure that you're checking us, you know, fact check me. I want you to fact check me. And I in fact, I had to do a video tonight that I was fact checked on, and it's about the fact that Gypsy Rose was cutting her hair in prison with toenail clippers. I personally, as a person who's never been to prison, did not know that that was a real thing. I thought that that was a sign of, in my world where I'm, you know, going to school for forensic psychology, that's a sign of psychosis. It's one of the first signs that you can notice, especially with a woman, that she's going through a crisis. They start altering their appearance. And if they just start hacking their hair with scissors, man, that's a red flag of all red flags. That's like, hey, I am not okay. You need to do something about me. So, you know, that's why I thought it was like suspicious. But apparently, I guess they do to save money going to the salon. I just can't see Jip doing it. I just can't see Jip shit standing there in a shower with toenail clippers cutting her hair. I just feel like she had enough money to the salon anytime she damn well pleased.
I feel like that would have taken days to do.
With her hair? Yeah.
She has very thick hair that grows very fast.
Really thick hair that grows very fast. And that picture that she put up talking about it, saying this is when I did it, did not look like a freaking toenail clipper or haircut. I'm sorry, it just didn't.
It would have taken a long time.
Anyway, it's 10:03. I'm past my limit. I got to get out of here. But we're going to be covering the Daybell trial. We're coming back to Natalia Grace next week. We are going to be covering this Mica Miller. You know, oh, thank you, Swanee, for joining the Patreon. We appreciate it so much. And then, guys, you know, we're just trying to break down some other cases and finish off the book. The book is coming along swimmingly. I'm very, very excited about what we have coming out in the book. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It is not just transcripts. There is a lot more that we are putting in the book for you guys, and I'm super, super excited about it. It is coming out in 14 days. 14 days. My first book is released. I can't even.
Yay! And thank you guys, everybody that's contributed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, and it helps us keep going here. It has definitely gone a long way to furthering us getting the network back up and running. And I would love for you guys to be able to see more from our other content creators, especially not just true crime, because we're not just the true crime show. We have tons and tons of other content and creators, and I have been, you know, not putting them out because of this situation that I'm, you know, the massive bullying. And, you know, it's time. We're done with waiting, and I'm going to get the network back up and going. And I'm very excited about the future of where we're going with things. So guys, keep tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives. You can find us on all social medias at the Good Wives Net. You can catch me over on TikTok at Spicy Red 92.
And you can please follow me at Sadie Beth 1.
And then, like we said, we do have the new official Good Wives TikTok over there, and that is Good Wives Net 2. And so thank you for joining the Patreon membership club. If you have not done so yet, we put inside documents from all the cases that we work on. There's bonus episodes in there. There's, you know, polls and contests, and we try to do fun things for you guys. Right now, we're doing our, you know, we've got the Truth Teller Tea for $1 a month, and you get all the different text messages that I've had with the various people investigating this case for the last 8 years. I drop it once a month, and you guys get a bunch of different ones. There's a lot in there so far. The last drop was Ken Erker, over 267 different screenshots of conversations with him, with Christy, with Gypsy, and others, all about Mr. Ken Erker.
Did you want to discuss the Preakness tonight or wait till tomorrow?
We'll wait till tomorrow. I'm already 6 minutes over my limit, and I'm going to get in trouble. He's been waiting for 2 hours. He came home early, and now he's like, you better be in here. So thanks for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives, serving up true crime one dish at a time. Bye.
Good night, guys.
Mwah.